our final interesting challenge of the day for this Innovation Thursday, and comes from the Consumers Association of Singapore. And I believe that CASE is currently celebrating its 50th anniversary. And so congratulations to CASE on the 50th anniversary. I believe you will have a logo competition going on right now. So I wish you all the best of luck in the entries for your logo competition. And the challenge from CASE in Innovation Call 11 is titled Information Navigator Tool to Assess and Answer and Address Queries. And the problem statement is, how might we build a smart information navigator that can deliver timely and relevant information to CASE stakeholders easily? And I'd like to welcome our speaker from CASE is Mr. Wilfred Ang. He's the Deputy Head of Consumer Relations at CASE. And Wilfred has been with CASE since 2012, right? And he currently takes care of the frontline officers as well as the call center at CASE. He's also the Assistant Administrative Secretary of CASE's International Affairs Committee, and is the point of contact between foreign delegates and CASE. So Wilfred is very, very busy. And of course, the Consumers Association of Singapore is a non-profit, non-governmental organization that is committed towards protecting consumers' interests through information and education and promoting an environment of fair and ethical trade practices. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Wilfred Ang from CASE. Welcome, Wilfred, and take it away.
Thank you, Billy. I think, Billy, you are very updated with our CASE events. Yeah. So very good afternoon to all. Thanks for the sharing of slides as well. Yeah, I'm Wilfred from CASE. So I do ground sensing as I take on complaints raised by the public, and I assist the consumer to negotiate with the business to achieve a positive outcome. So thank you to all who are listening in. So today I'll be sharing on the information navigation tool that we are looking for, which actually we will hope to be able to ease most of my colleagues' workload, and at the same time allow relevant and timely information to be easily located by the public. So we hope that with this smart navigator, the consumer can be guided through a series of relevant questions, which helps better understand their intent so that they will get the correct information provided quickly and efficiently as well. So next slide, please. So first, let me share with you briefly about our organization. So we are the only consumer watchdog in Singapore. Slide 2, thanks. So CASE was set up back in 1971. And like Billy said, incidentally, this year marks our 50th anniversary. So we are a non-profit organization, and our mission and vision is basically to seek to champion consumers' interests and promote fair trading as we endeavor a consumer-friendly Singapore. So CASE, we focus on educating the public. We let them know their rights, what they can ask for, and we provide them with tips on what to watch out before they enter into an agreement. We update our consumer alert page pretty often, and in the event the consumers themselves meet with the dispute, they can approach CASE and we represent them to seek amicable resolutions through mediation. So we'll also work closely with whitelisted companies through our CASE Trust department. So these companies fulfill the criteria for fair trading, and the CASE Trust decal, which you can actually see diagonally bottom left of our CASE logo in this slide, is a trademark which gives the consumers confidence and assurance so that they are able to shop with a peace of mind. So we too work closely with the ASAS, so it's the Advertising Standards Authority of Singapore. So CASE do provide secretariat support for this council as well. So if you do come across sketchy advertisements which displays information you find pretty questionable, so please do not hesitate. You can approach ASAS to seek the advice as well. Okay, next slide. So throughout the process of protecting consumers, of course, CASE, we do face our own hurdles as well. So we hope to leverage on some digital technologies to mitigate such following challenges. So because CASE, we are the only consumer body in Singapore, we do service not only the entire Singapore, we also assist foreigners and tourists if they were to meet issues during their purchases as well. So a lot of time before we take up these cases, the consumers will start off with inquiries, so perhaps through our mobile hotline as well. So our hotline colleagues, roughly 2 to 3 of them, they can get around, say, 1,200 calls per month. So this large proportion of queries at times, it is not exactly specific to their dispute per se. It's more towards like pretty repetitive questions such as how can they lodge a complaint, what is the cost, what do they need to do. So such info actually take up some of my colleagues' time. So even though such information can be found on our website itself. So it is a big challenge as our call center colleagues have got to stand by for the high volume of hotline queries, and a large proportion is actually answering questions which are rather repetitive. So for basic and more commonly repeated questions, we hope to be able to get a system that allows relevant automated response that is helpful and easy to understand. So this will definitely free up my colleagues' time so that they are able to focus on a more high-level, specific scenario-based sort of questions that our consumers may need to seek advice. So also at times, our call center receive calls from merchants asking on procedures to be case trusted. So in this scenario, we also would like the solution hopefully to be able to connect the consumers to, let's say, our case trust department, our ASAS department. And even though they do have their individual websites, sometimes people still end up calling our main hotline to inquire. So point number 2, as you can see, I would like to also highlight that navigation of issues may be a bit of an issue, especially for consumers that first visit our website. So sometimes they feel it's a bit overwhelming. There are way too many categories. So they face difficulties actually finding the information that of what they want. So again, they end up calling our hotline, and actually if with more user-friendly sort of a guideline, perhaps they are able to find their information at their own convenience through our website instead. So a lot of time actually data is just numbers in our database system. So we do hope that with this new system that or solution, let's say, we are able to analyze data more effectively so that we are able to be alerted on, let's say, the trends and even spot a potential change in consumer behavior. So we currently do lack an integrated database because my colleagues in the stats who are actually assigned statistics, they are only able to, let's say, use simple Excel tools, and it is difficult to pick up, let's say, rising trends, and the results of the statistics generation usually is only limited to, at best, let's say, a pivot table. So this incomplete database data points further worsen, let's say, as consumers sometimes choose to air their issues on social media instead of feedback to case. So through this analysis of data, so it will be more meaningful, perhaps case to be able to gather ground sentiment and also help support to curate better content and decision making, especially at our management level, to remain relevant in Singapore. So case, of course, we do have an existing Microsoft Dynamics system currently, but we do not exactly use it too often to analyze statistics. So largely, I've just, let's say, as per what I've mentioned, it is still pretty manual and then done through Excel. So let me highlight the problem statement. Okay, slide 4 is how we actually are able to build a smart information navigator that delivers timely and relevant information to case stakeholders easily. Okay, next slide 5. So perhaps let me elaborate a bit on this. So we are looking for a prototype solution that can help consumers, both local and overseas, be able to navigate our system easily, be pointed to the right answers with suitable additional information if possible, so that they're able to, their whole overall experience can be enhanced. So I'll go through some features that we hope the solution is able to incorporate. So like I've mentioned earlier, a smart information navigator which promotes a DIY sort of a self-help for the consumers. So as and when it is convenient, let's say they are able to surf our website and independently retrieve info that they would require. So the solution must be able to help retrieve relevant resources across all 3 of our portals, namely, of course, Case, our Case Trust, as well as ASAS. So later in the next slide 6, slide 6, it is just a simple how do the 3 websites look at first instance, like if you were to key in the URL. Okay, sorry, back to the slide 5. Okay, so based on the consumer search query, we would require the solution to be a smart information recommender. So it would be most ideal if the solution is able to have an online crawler to gather feedback from various platforms, say based on the subject and search criteria. So we hope to be able to allow consumers to self-help. So we do also have some common case trust inquiry such as how do we apply for case trust, and for escalation purposes, we would like to be able to assist with business who has more specific and in-depth inquiries to, let's say, apply for case trust, which cannot be addressed by the navigator, to be, let's say, directed to the correct contact details of my case trust colleague instead. Next slide. Next slide. So for point 4, another slide. Yeah. So for point 4, under queries redirect, okay, maybe let me share a bit for everybody's understanding is the more common queries that our case actually gets. So almost every day, we will have consumers calling in, asking us how they can submit their complaints. So if they need to make appointments and etc. So we do also receive many inquiries which are business to business in nature, which unfortunately we do not handle. So with regards to such issues, it will be in fact more time saving if let's say that we are able to have this solution. So definitely also allows our call center colleagues to focus on the non-standard queries. So the point 5 is for trend analysis. We do want automatic tracking and analysis of incoming queries as well to understand trends of pertinent issues. So we'll help our organization make more informed decisions as well. So lastly, let me share more about our overall performance requirements in the next slide. Okay, so firstly, the solution should be able to seamlessly integrate with our case websites and should not impair the website's performance. We do not want the solution to only be accessible through desktop as well. So preferably one that is mobile interface friendly, such that both the mobile phone as well as laptop you are able to access to this page. So a responsive system, easy to use for both staff to manage the solutions and for consumers to find the information is what we will need. So we definitely also need, of course, our system to be smart. So to be able to interpret questions and generate suitable answers. And last thing we need is, of course, we need is for the system to direct everything to our call center, and then that definitely defeats the purpose. So we also need the solution to be easy to maintain, reliable, and security are most important, as we cannot afford to have a high downtime since we are serving such a large population of people, and we also do not want to keep having to activate to rectify bug issues. So of course, we are also looking for proposed solutions with transparent and, let's say, defined all-in price. So if possible, perhaps you can let us know, and then we hope to be able to get something useful, which is cost effective in the long run. Yeah. So that's about all.
Okay, Wilfred, would you like to share about the prize money and all that?
Okay, so, yeah, so the prize money, similar to the other presenters, is 30K for each winner of this challenge, and of course, co-innovate with case as well as gain access to IMDA's technology resources and opportunity to commercialize solution for deployment and adoption by the sector members. So like Billy said just now, I think the deadline would be 29 October, 4 p.m. to be exact. Yeah.
That's right. Can submit by 3:59 also can, but yeah, 4 p.m. is the deadline on 29 October. Okay, thank you, Wilfred. And we're going to move on to the Q&A. But in the meantime, I do have one question for you, Wilfred, because I kind of was going through your challenge and it sounded quite similar to what CPF is. It's like a subset of what the CPF is also looking for. But in your case, right, how far would a AI-powered chatbot solve your issues?
Okay, chatbot actually we do consider such a software in the case, but I think we are more concerned also at the same time about the data analysis part, that the questions or important topics that are actually raised to us by, let's say, the public or consumers are able to be captured, let's say. So I am not exactly sure if a chatbot per se is it sufficient? But I think we are open to hearing people's all the people's thoughts. Let's see.
And you have come to the right platform, because our community of tech solvers, right, they have all sorts of activities. They're able to advise you on all kinds of possibilities for your solution. That's great. Okay, we have a question from the floor from one of our big fans. I think it's Derek Go, and Derek is asking about okay, from the past volume of databases, right, are all the information that you have documented in Excel or written notes, or have been classified and archived properly? So I guess Derek wants to know, what is the state of your back end of data right now?
Okay, we do save roughly about 6 years worth of data. So we are also trying to digitalize similar as our CPF, but we also do have hard copy at this point in time. Oh, by the way, I'd like to introduce my colleagues, Shannon and Juliana. So they will also they are around to.
Hi, Shannon, Juliana, welcome to share the load. Welcome. Okay, we're gonna wait for more questions. Hello, welcome. We're very fun afternoon so far. So we've answered a question from Derek, and we have questions coming fast and furious on the floor already. Okay, these are probably people who are members of CASE, I think. Okay, a question from Rachel. Rachel, is CASE currently collecting any data from customers? What are your touch points with customers? Yeah.
We are currently, the data that we collect from them are more towards if they want us to take up their case, then we usually take down their address, we take down their email address, last 3 digits of IC, and some supporting documents. That's basically all.
Okay, so the touch points will be your call center plus email, I'm assuming.
Do you have a online? We do have an online portal, so consumers are able to submit their issues online for our officers to take it from there.
Okay, what are walk-ins? You have a service counter that people walk in to complain?
We do have a service counter as well, but temporarily, because of the spike in COVID, so it is temporarily we only taking on complaints through our online portal as of right now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think the next 2 questions one is from Flo, one's from Anonymous, but there's some quite alike. They want to know about your backend. What is your current IT setup, and what is your current CRM, which is I think it's the customer relationship management system. Yeah.
Okay. This one, I think I need some help.
So Shannon, just shoot the arrow. Shannon or Juliana?
Okay, so currently our system is the Microsoft Dynamics. So we are actually having this vendor to help us. And of course, with this system actually allows us to capture all the information of the consumers' information and the complaints and the kind of industries that they're complaining against, and what's the desired outcome. So all this information will be captured in there, and that's where we will actually follow up the cases. And in the event the case is actually resolved, unresolved, this will be captured in there. So we do have the third-party vendor, which is the IT company, which actually helps us to manage and ensure the system is actually working fine. Yeah.
And this vendor also manages your CRM system, I'm assuming.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
Okay, that's great. So it's outsourced in the sense to an external vendor. Okay, thank you. Okay. Somebody wants to know what. Can you show the judging criteria again? Maybe I can ask my colleague to show the slide with all the judging criteria, what they're looking for. Okay. Yeah, so solution fit, solution readiness, solution advantage, and company profile. And these are very strict criteria with a lot of scoring involved. So yeah, this is a test that you cannot study for. You must have a very good submission to clear this. Okay. Next question from Rachel again. Rachel, thank you. Is the prototype looking at a mobile application? Shannon is answering. Maybe Shannon can answer live.
Yeah, I think we are not limiting it to mobile app, because in terms of the maintenance and all that, it could also be quite costly to sustain it. So I think we are open to any suggestion on what kind of sustainable solutions that can be offered. That's why you will notice that we are also not just limiting to chatbot, although I think a lot of you will be thinking of chatbot while we are going through half of our presentation. Yeah. So I think let's be creative.
Okay, let's be open to new kinds of ideas rather than just chatbot alone. Okay, thank you. All right, coming up next from Anonymous, and this is, are you looking to have the data stored on the cloud?
I think possible.
Yes.
Okay, it's possible. Okay.
Yes.
As long as it's safe and secure, right? Yeah, it can store on the cloud. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Security is very important to us because we are dealing with publics, some of their personal information as well. So
that's right. Yeah. So the PDPA does apply. Okay. Coming up next from Anonymous as well. It says, if a properly designed chatbot can extract and filter down queries, right, to how much reduction in manpowers? Okay, so I guess this question is a bit complex, but it's saying like, what would you consider a successful chatbot? How much problems does it have to solve to be considered successful? Yeah.
Okay, so what happens is that for our call center, right, roughly it's about 30 to 40% of the questions are actually very general information, which is like whether the case can be, handled by us, and how do they lodge the complaint and all this. This definitely will help us in terms of, allowing our call center officers to actually free up their time to handle more important kind of queries. I mean, of course, these are actually important, but somehow this, I believe, can be handled by the chatbot. Yeah, the normal standard queries. But in the event, if there are more difficult questions, etc., so the time can be free up to actually handle that kind of more complex and complicated kind of questions. Okay. So I think about 30% of
30%. Okay, sounds good. Okay, I understand. There's one more question that I think Wilfred has answered already online. So okay, wow.
Sorry, I think I clicked incorrectly. Microsoft Dynamics. I think the question is
which CRM?
Yeah, which CRM
we
are using?
Microsoft Dynamics. Okay, Ken. I'm looking for more questions on the floor. If not, we will just okay. Let's just have a 10-second count. If no more questions for Wilfred and his team, right, we're gonna let them off the hook. Okay, Flo is coming in with one question. Thank you, Flo. Okay, do you transfer all calling complaints to any form of data storage for analysis?
Yes. So calls, when they come to us, so if it's with regards to a specific issue, usually we will key into our database. And if it's, let's say, a general inquiry like where is your office located, we will save it in a separate Excel file for our tracking purposes.
Okay, thank you, Wilfred. I think that's it. We have more or less cleared all the questions, provided nothing comes in the next 5 seconds. So wait, Anonymous doesn't want to let us go. He wants to ask more questions. Okay, what kind of data analysis and profiling would you most want to extract? And normally, how is it extracted? These are very technical questions. Anyone? Juliana or Shannon or Wilfred?
Okay, what kind of data? I think the data that we like to have is to know, like, for example, the company name, what's the complaints about, what's the issue, common nature, and the industry. So this will actually help us into being able to identify the problem areas of the specific industry or the particular company that consumer is facing difficulties in resolving their dispute. So I think it's good to have the kind of system where it actually helps us to actually retrieve such information. Yeah.
If I may just add on to Juliana's point, I feel that currently we are not doing enough with the data that CASE has. And things are very manual. So whatever information that we are getting from our call centers, right, we are just extracting to our own Excel spreadsheet, which it will not be very fast in order for us to track the trend or to detect what are the changing consumer landscape. So if, let's say, we are able to deploy some sort of data analytics to the information that CASE is receiving, even to the whole universe, in terms of not just CASE information per se, if, let's say, the system is even smart enough to go and look at, for example, mothership information, hardware zone, and help us to populate some of the interesting consumer pain points that they are facing out there, and alert to us that, hey, look, actually, the consumers are facing more information, more problems than what CASE is seeing, because we also know that consumers are getting more savvy. They may be just going online to rent, but they may not come to CASE because it may be trivial, not worth the effort to come to CASE. But we want to know if there are any unethical practices out there. So if, let's say, the system is smart enough for us to tap onto this particular gap, it would be great.
Okay, thank you, Juliana and Shannon. And also I thank Kenny from CASE. Hi, Kenny. He's going to reply to one question about the database as well in the chat group. So thank you very much. I believe, I think that's about it for our friends from CASE. No, Derek wants to have one question. Okay, Derek, because you're one of our most enthusiastic fans, I'm going to give you this question, okay? So Derek says, CASE, great insight, thank you. sounds like you would like to segment and data cluster for actionable insights. So do you all agree with his statement? Okay. Okay, so they all nod their head. So Derek, you have a unanimous response from the judges. They love your comment. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, I think, all right, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I'd like to thank Wilfred, Shannon, Juliana, and of course, Kenny from CASE for presenting your very interesting business challenge. It's very similar to, I believe, the CPF board, and it's something I think a lot of organizations, including government agencies, are looking at. So you guys might be the trailblazers, coming up with new kinds of innovation that we all can adopt to improve the way we interact with the public and the way we understand the public trends and the way we track and monitor and are able to anticipate the new trends that are coming along. So thank you very much, our friends from CASE, for presenting on the challenge. Thank you.
Thanks, Billy.
Thank you. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.